Ladies, have you ever looked at a man, maybe the one you're dating or the partner you've been with for years, and thought, why do men say they want love but act distant when I start giving it? Or maybe you've wondered, I'm loyal, supportive, and caring. I show up. Why isn't it enough? If this sounds familiar, then you're about to understand something that could change the way you see men forever. The truth is, men aren't pulling away because of something you're doing wrong. They're pulling away because you're not meeting needs they rarely talk about. Men hide these needs behind pride, silence, and the I'm fine mask. Even surprising, these needs aren't about age, looks, or trying harder. They are emotional triggers most women don't even know exist. In fact, 95% of women unintentionally miss these needs, not because they don't care, but because men rarely admit them. When a woman finally understands and provides these three emotional essentials, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the woman a man invests in, chooses, cherishes, and never wants to lose. Once you understand these needs, everything in your relationship can shift. Even mature men who have lived long, faced challenges, and built lives still carry this quiet desire to feel like they matter. Men, especially as they get older, have emotional needs that often go unnoticed, even by women who love them deeply. One of the most important things is that they want to feel like they matter. It's not about control or ego, it's about purpose. When a man feels he has a meaningful place in your life, whether it's giving advice, fixing something, or contributing in some way, he feels valued. That sense of being needed strengthens his bond with you. Without it, even the most loving relationship can feel distant because he starts to wonder if he still fits, if his presence makes a difference, and if he's appreciated in the way that matters to him. Emotional peace is another crucial need. Men don't want relationships filled with constant tension, drama, or criticism. They don't fear emotions themselves. They fear being blamed or feeling responsible for someone else's feelings. A woman who communicates calmly, shows understanding, and creates a safe space allows him to open up without fear. When he feels emotionally safe, he becomes more affectionate, vulnerable, and expressive. Small things, like listening, asking his opinion, or handling disagreements calmly, help him feel secure. This emotional stability not only strengthens intimacy, but also encourages him to invest in the relationship willingly, rather than feeling pressured or defensive. Desire is the third need that's often overlooked. Love is about care and support, but desire is about admiration, attraction, and excitement. Men want to feel wanted, not just tolerated or cared for. Small gestures, such as compliments, a playful touch, or meaningful eye contact, communicate this without words. Especially for men over 50 who may carry insecurities about age or appearance, these moments are powerful. Desire makes a man feel alive, confident, and masculine, and it encourages him to reciprocate with attention, affection, and loyalty. When a man feels desired, he shows up fully, not just as a partner, but as a man who wants to engage, contribute, and nurture the connection. Understanding these needs doesn't mean a woman has to change who she is or compromise her independence. It means creating a balance where he feels he belongs, feels safe to express himself, and feels desired. When these three elements are met, relationships transform. Men become emotionally present, generous, protective, and passionate. They don't just stay, they thrive. They invest in ways that women often wish they would. And for women over 50 who bring wisdom, experience, emotional maturity, and confidence, meeting these needs makes their presence irresistible. Age amplifies power, not diminishes it, and understanding these hidden needs allows both partners to experience deeper connection, love, and fulfillment. Men's emotional world is often quieter than women's, but it is no less complex. Many men grow up being taught to hide their feelings, stay strong, and solve problems without complaining. By the time they reach their 50s or 60s, they have experienced disappointment, loss, and emotional exhaustion. Even when they seem calm and self-sufficient, they carry a quiet need to feel significant in someone's life. Feeling useful and appreciated gives them purpose. Small gestures like asking for their advice, valuing their opinion, or letting them contribute in meaningful ways reassure them that they still matter. Without that, they can unintentionally withdraw, not because they stop loving, but because they feel invisible or irrelevant. Emotional safety is another layer of their needs. Men often fear being blamed, criticized, or held responsible for emotions that feel too heavy. It's not that they don't feel, on the contrary, they feel deeply, but they want to feel secure expressing themselves. A calm, warm, and understanding tone helps immensely. When women communicate without attacking, escalate issues slowly, and show empathy, men begin to relax. They let their guard down, share more of themselves, and connect on a deeper level. Emotional safety allows them to be vulnerable, affectionate, and fully present without fear of judgment or conflict. This peace is rare, and when it exists, it strengthens trust and intimacy beyond what words alone can do. Desire is a need that often goes unnoticed. Love can be expressed in acts of support, loyalty, and care, but men also want to feel wanted, attractive, and appreciated as men, not just as partners. Small signs, like a compliment, a playful touch, a lingering look, or leaning in during conversation, remind him that he still excites and matters to you. Desire isn't about sex, it's about energy and attention. Men, especially older men, carry insecurities they rarely admit. Feeling desired helps them regain confidence, feel alive, and reconnect with their masculinity. When this need is met, they show up more fully in the relationship, becoming more affectionate, attentive, and emotionally invested without being asked. The combination of purpose, emotional safety, and desire is transformative. Men don't leave places where they feel valued, safe, and wanted. Women who understand these subtle needs create a powerful bond. They don't have to give up independence, hide their emotions, or shrink themselves. They simply provide space for him to contribute, show care, and feel seen. Age and life experience amplify the impact because women over 50 bring wisdom, emotional depth, calm, and confidence that younger women often haven't developed. Meeting these hidden needs makes a woman unforgettable, magnetic, and cherished, creating relationships that are deeply satisfying, passionate, and lasting. Men's emotional needs are often subtle, hidden under pride or silence, and many women don't see them clearly. Even men who seem independent, confident, or experienced still carry a quiet desire to feel important, valued, and wanted in their relationships. They want to know that their presence matters and that they can contribute in meaningful ways. It's not about controlling or leading, it's about having a role that feels significant. When a man senses that he truly matters, he feels connected and motivated to invest emotionally. If he feels irrelevant, no matter how much love you show, he can pull away quietly because he isn't getting the validation he needs to feel purpose. Emotional peace is something men crave, but it's different from avoiding conflict or being emotionally distant. Men want calm, not silence, and they want their feelings to be respected and safe. If a woman communicates in a way that is understanding, patient, and calm, even during disagreements, a man feels secure to share himself without fear of judgment or criticism. Emotional safety allows him to lower the armor he has carried for decades, to become more affectionate, open, and vulnerable. Men don't dislike emotions, they dislike feeling blamed or responsible for them. When a woman creates peace in the relationship, he relaxes, opens up, and becomes the kind of partner who can give love freely. Desire is often overlooked, but it is as important as love itself. Men want to feel wanted, admired, and appreciated as men, not just as companions. Small gestures, like compliments, playful touches, meaningful eye contact, or leaning in closer, communicate this without words. Love can feel safe and comfortable, but desire feels alive, exciting, and energizing. When men feel desired, they regain confidence, feel masculine, and are motivated to show affection, attention, and loyalty naturally. For men over 50 who may carry insecurities about aging or their vitality, desire is even more powerful. A woman who expresses attraction openly helps him feel alive and connected in ways he often doesn't expect. When a man's needs for significance, emotional safety, and desire are met together, the relationship transforms. He becomes emotionally present, consistent, affectionate, and protective. He doesn't just stay, he invests fully, contributes, and cherishes. Meeting these needs doesn't require a woman to give up her independence, hide her feelings, or compromise her strength. It simply means giving him a role where he feels needed, creating calm and understanding in communication, and expressing attraction in ways that make him feel alive. Women over 50 have a natural advantage here because they bring wisdom, life experience, emotional depth, and confidence that younger women are still learning to develop. This combination of emotional understanding and subtle expressions of desire makes a woman unforgettable. Men are drawn to women who make them feel important, safe, and wanted. Age does not lessen a woman's influence, it strengthens it. A mature woman who understands these hidden needs can build a connection that is deeply satisfying, passionate, and lasting. The best part is that when men feel this way, they naturally reciprocate. They become more loving, more present, and more devoted, creating a relationship where both partners feel valued, connected, and fully alive. Men don't want to feel irrelevant, even if you don't need them to survive. Many women over 50 have been independent, strong, and self-sufficient for decades, and yet even the strongest women can unintentionally make a man feel emotionally invisible. When he feels this way, he pulls back, not because he doesn't love you, but because he's unsure where he fits. Men don't want you to act helpless or downplay your independence. What they do want is to feel that you give them a meaningful place in your life, a chance to contribute in some way, however small, which makes them feel valued and connected. It could be something simple, like asking his opinion, letting him fix something, or appreciating his perspective. Even when you could do things faster on your own, allowing him to help doesn't feed his ego. It gives him emotional purpose. Inside every man, even those with grey hair and grown kids, is a part that wants to feel strong emotionally in your eyes. Simple gestures like, "What do you think?" or "Can you help me with this?" tell him, "You matter here." Men stay loyal to places where they feel they truly matter, and when a woman acknowledges this, he becomes more affectionate and emotionally invested. Many women over 50 fall into a pattern without realizing it. They've spent years managing everything, leading and solving problems, so they carry that same energy into relationships. But sometimes that energy sends the message, "I don't need you." Not with words, but with the way the relationship feels. When a man senses his role shrinking, he quietly withdraws. This is why women often ask, "Why did he become distant when I was trying so hard to be strong and low maintenance?" Being low maintenance isn't what he wants. What he truly craves is impact, contribution, and a way to show up and feel needed in your life. When a man feels useful and valued, he opens up. He becomes more affectionate, expressive, and invested, not because you demand it, but because his heart feels necessary. This need only grows stronger as men age. A young man seeks approval from the world, but a mature man seeks to feel valued by the woman he loves. At this stage, men don't need stress, games, or drama. They just want to know they still matter, that their presence is appreciated, and that you see the good in them, even when life has been harsh, quiet, or lonely. Giving him this is how love deepens and lasts. When a woman truly understands how to let a man contribute, show genuine appreciation, and recognize that he still adds value to her life, she unlocks a side of him most women never see. She brings out his protectiveness, loyalty, tenderness, passion, and devotion. A man who feels useful and needed becomes emotionally safe to love. So when he offers help, don't dismiss it. When he shares his thoughts, lean in. When he does something small, appreciate it. Let him stand beside you in his own way. When you allow a man to feel like your hero, not because you need one, but because you choose him, that's when he gives the love you've always deserved. Women over 50 often don't get enough credit for their emotional strength. You've lived through chapters that forced you to grow, adapt, survive, and stand tall. You've held families together, managed crises, handled disappointments and heartbreaks, and taken on responsibilities that others wouldn't. You've learned to communicate, express yourself, and handle a lifetime of emotional ups and downs. Yet, even with this mastery, most men, especially those over 50, are still cautious around emotional intensity, not because they don't care, but because they've been trained to avoid anything that feels like emotional conflict. This is where many misunderstandings in relationships begin. Men don't run from love, they run from emotional chaos, real or imagined. By the time a man reaches his 50s, he has often faced more emotional exhaustion than he will admit. He may have experienced a divorce where conversations turned into arguments, relationships where emotions were used as weapons, or childhoods where vulnerability was punished or ignored. Years of work in high-pressure environments and the expectation to always stay composed add to this. Combined with the pressure of being strong, the provider, and the anchor, it's no wonder that emotional peace becomes his deepest need. At this stage, men aren't looking for drama. They crave calm. He wants a partner who can speak without attacking, express herself without exploding, and disagree without destroying. This doesn't mean you have to hide your feelings, walk on eggshells, or suppress your truth. What matters is your emotional tone. A man over 50 doesn't need perfection. He needs emotional safety. He wants a partner grounded enough that he can lower his guard and let go of the armor he's worn for decades. But if every conversation feels like pressure or accusation, he will never open that door. The older he gets, the more drained he becomes by emotional battles, and this makes him withdraw quickly when conflict appears. Men aren't overwhelmed by feelings themselves. They're overwhelmed when they feel responsible for someone else's emotions. If a woman communicates, "You upset me and must fix it," he shuts down. If she says, "Let's work through this together," he opens up. Men don't fear feelings, they fear failing. Emotional conflict is the one place they feel most likely to fail. That's why a woman who creates emotional calm becomes unforgettable, not because she never expresses frustration or anger, but because she communicates in a way that doesn't make him feel attacked or inadequate. It's the difference between "you never listen to me" and "can I share something? I want us to understand each other better." When you speak to a man in a warm, calm, and inviting way, it changes everything. Saying something like, "I felt hurt when you said that, and I want to share why," or "Can we talk? I promise I'm not here to fight," creates emotional peace. For men, emotional peace doesn't mean no feelings. It means emotions shared in a safe, loving, and respectful way. When a man finds a woman who communicates like this, he relaxes in her presence, lets his guard down, and becomes more open. He grows more affectionate, vulnerable, and transparent, sharing parts of himself he hasn't shown in years. Men aren't shallow, they're cautious, and the woman who understands this becomes unforgettable to him. When a woman expresses her needs without attacking him, talks through issues calmly, shows understanding instead of criticism, and brings warmth instead of tension, a man feels at home. He doesn't leave a place where he feels safe and valued. You don't have to be soft all the time or avoid conflict, and you don't have to suppress your feelings. You simply need to show him that his emotional world is safe with you, that you won't tear him down when he's vulnerable, and you'll handle challenges with calm clarity. This allows him to open up and be the man he truly is inside, emotionally strong and fully present. When a man feels emotional peace, he becomes the version women dream of. He becomes more present, generous, expressive, affectionate, and loyal. Peace unlocks his best self. Men over 50 often crave this more than anything else because they've experienced years of emotional challenges. When you provide a safe emotional environment, he gives everything he's been holding back. But there's another need most women miss. Men want to feel wanted, not just loved. Love shows care and support, but desire shows admiration, attraction, and appreciation for him as a man. Mature women often show love beautifully, but desire is something he feels in subtle ways, through your eyes, touch, tone, and small gestures. Desire is about energy, not grand gestures. Men, especially over 50, carry insecurities they rarely express. He may joke about his hair, weight, or aches, but underneath he wants to feel attractive, chosen, and still capable of sparking excitement. Many women unintentionally give comfort, companionship, and care, but not desire. Desire is the spark that makes him feel masculine, alive, and valued. It's shown through admiration, compliments, touches, leaning in, or simply noticing him in small ways. When a man feels desired, he becomes more affectionate, attentive, giving, and romantic. He shows up without being asked because desire awakens the part of him that feels confident and alive. Men don't need constant validation, but they need signs they're wanted. Simple gestures like a compliment, a warm touch, holding his gaze, or showing flirtatious attention can make him feel youthful and energetic again. Desire doesn't fade with age. It can grow stronger if expressed genuinely. When women over 50 show attraction and appreciation openly, it surprises men in the best way. It reminds him he still excites you, making him invest more emotionally, physically, and energetically. Desire strengthens the bond in a way love alone cannot. A man who feels chosen and wanted becomes loyal, devoted, protective, and fully committed. It's the spark that keeps the relationship alive and meaningful. When you understand a man's hidden needs, to feel like he matters, to have emotional peace, and to feel wanted, you don't just become another partner, you become the woman he never wants to lose. Men stay where they feel alive, valued, desired, respected, and emotionally safe. Age doesn't weaken your power, it enhances it. Women over 50 have wisdom, experience, calm, confidence, and emotional maturity that younger women haven't had the chance to develop. Combine that with understanding a man's hidden needs, and you become magnetic. Your best love story may still be ahead, and the woman you are today, experienced, wise, and strong, is exactly who a real man hopes to find.